From Hollywood, California, at Meltdown Comics, the nerdy melty merge, Harmontown is now in session. Let's bring out Spencer Crittenden. You know what? Scratch that. I forgot he's not here. I guess in a pinch, let's bring out Rob Schrab.
In a pinch. Some cards. Give me some cards and a shirt.
Rob, you want to do like a minute or two before Dan comes out?
I could do some table magic.
Huh? Table magic?
Table magic. I need some cards and a Sharpie.
Does anybody here have a deck of cards?
Anybody? No. Blank cards. I'm going to make my own game up.
Does anybody here have a blank deck of cards? I got like some 3x5s.
Deck of cards. I'm going to put my own symbols on it. And my own royalty.
I can give you some pages out of my...
No. A blank set of cards. Anybody just give me a blank set of cards, and I will do some table magic. I'll make up my own royalty. And
okay. I'll introduce Dan, and then I'll make
I want
You're saying Dan doesn't come out until you get some 3x5 cards.
I'm not being clear. I want a blank set of cards and a Sharpie. Dan, go.
Dan Harmon is bringing out... All right. Dan, go away. Rob,
hold on.
How much lead time do you want?
Just a few
seconds.
Like 20 minutes.
Should I stall until then? Should I fill time?
Fill time.
The Feral Audio Network is the Lexus of audio networks. And if you go to fairaudio.com, you get a free Maserati.
A little bit more.
A little more?
Yeah.
Maserati is the Lexus of cars. How much more do you need?
No, just one more.
Okay.
One more.
All right.
No.
I mean,
this is going to be a good set of cards.
The person I'm about to introduce needs no introduction. You know him as the mayor of the show that you came to see. You ready, Rob?
Yes.
Okay.
Go for it. Let's do this.
Dan Harmon!
Our guest has a hard out tonight.
I have a hard out for you. I want you to pick one card.
Is this table magic?
That's the card you got. Now read it.
AIDS.
But how did he know?
The nose knows. The nose nodes, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, the nose nodes.
So
I like the table.
So nervous. I'm so nervous about tonight. What you're doing?
I'm not nervous at all.
This is an important night for me.
I know it's important to you.
Yeah.
I feel great. I feel good. I'm so fucking drunk right now. Dan?
Guys,
I love you.
We have a guest here tonight that I'd like to talk to.
Needs no introduction.
We're going to talk to him about the emerging world of new media because all media is new to him because he was there at the actual birth of fucking television, writing the when it was all beginning. He's created. He's developed over 100 shows. I don't even know how that's possible.
All 100 of them.
Some of them are more noteworthy than others. All in the Family, Sanford and Son, Good Times, Mary Hartman, Fernwood Tonight.
Fernwood
the Jeffersons?
The Jeffersons I skipped right over as one of the... Yeah, it's. I mean, let's just bring them out.
Let's hear it for 'em.
Yeah! Norman Lear!
All of you millennials have no idea how fucking awesome this is. You have no idea. This is really cool. Dan, take
Rob.
it away.
Thanks, Rob.
Please do not screw this up, Dan.
All right. So, you have this documentary coming out that's about you. Did you have a hand in any of it editorially? Or?
Like Harmontown.
Absolutely, 2 women made it. They're two great women who made it.
And they you had an agreement with them, like I'm sure they're very reverent of you, but in order to make I got a sneak peek at it. It's a very powerful, emotional portrait.
They did a great job. It's an American master, so PBS didn't want anybody to see. I mean, it's a rule of the game, and they made sure I saw none of it.
Right, and then you finally saw it, and how'd you feel?
I saw it with it opened Sundance. It opened the festival, so that was a great compliment to the film. And I saw it with my family, so I was just wondering how's my wife like it? My kids, I have 6 kids.
Mm-hmm.
They were all there. What are they thinking? I have yet to really sit down and see it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the more powerful emotional themes that keeps coming up is about your dad. But let's put a pin in that. Because the really interesting thing to me is that, I mean, your career in television before it's almost a footnote in an equally amazing just lifetime. It describes you describe yourself in your book sitting with that crystal radio. Okay, do you want to talk about that for a moment? That first experience you had with you don't. do you want?
Do you want to sing about it?
You know about it?
A little song?
Yeah,
No,
No. Do you know about the crystal radio set he's talking about?
I do not. No.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Why don't you tell me, Mr. Lear?
My dad went to prison when I was 9 years old, and when I was 8 and a half, tending toward 9, we made a crystal radio set. It was one of the best times I can remember having with him. And he was gone, and I'm fooling with the little he had headphones and a little what they called a cat's whisker over this little crystal, and if you caught a signal, you were lucky. And I caught a signal, and I was unlucky because the signal I caught had a guy by the name of Father Coughlin. He was a priest who had a big radio show, and he was a madman. And a vicious anti-Semite and anti-Roosevelt, and he liked the things he heard beginning in Germany. I'm talking about 1931. So, yeah.
And you're a kid of 9 years old, and you're listening to this guy.
I'm listening to this guy, and he hates Jewish people. And it was the first time I knew anything about anti-Semitism, which didn't take me long to realize, if I was hurting as a result of a Father Coughlin, these people I didn't see a lot of at that time in my high school and my school, black people. I started to see a lot of them a little bit later, and I had an automatic affinity for everybody that was suffering even more than we were.
I thought that was an interesting part of your.
But I want to make mention of we had civics classes in those years. So we were learning at that tender age about the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, all of those guarantees that this country was going to protect all of us, and we would have equal protection under the law. And that saved my ass emotionally.
You mean it protected
how do
you from the
save your ass
fear?
emotionally? I don't know, but
Do you mean listening to this guy and feeling you might have felt
yeah,
hunted and endangered if it weren't for civics
my country
class?
said he was evil and wrong, and it, we don't have civics classes in public schools anymore. They cut that like they cut the arts and music and all those things that bring us together, make us feel as one. Seem to go first.
Something we hung on to is the Pledge of Allegiance, which you mentioned in this really stirring, patriotic portrait of the America that you belonged to at that time, an America that hadn't entered World War II yet. You talked about patriotism. You talked about being at parades with your grandfather. You talked about what it felt like to be proud to be an American back then. And one thing that you mentioned that caught my attention was this was before they had gratuitously added "under God" to the end of the Pledge of Allegiance. Mm-hmm. When did they add that? I could have looked it up, but I figured you were coming.
I think it was 1936.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's recently they added that.
I mean, there's a huge irony to that. This idea that this is one of the dragons that you fought your whole career, and very capably. It's this weird. This morality concept that some people say has something to do with Christian values, which you would not argue with. I don't get the impression, but what you would argue with is that being shoved down people's throat and unduly influencing elected office and things like that. Which is why in the 80s when the moral majority started,
that's when I started People for the American Way. To fight the moral majority, Pat Robertson, Jerry Falwell, Jimmy Swaggart, all those guys that were building these giant congregations, insisting that you were a good American or a bad American. I mean, you were a good Christian or a bad Christian, depending on your political point of view.
Right.
I didn't start People for the American Way at the beginning. I just did a 60-second television spot with a working guy sitting on a piece of factory equipment and saying that he and his family sit around the dinner table, breakfast table, talking politics all the time. His wife and his kids disagree about all kinds of things, and he disagrees. But here come these ministers, he said, on radio and television telling you you're a good Christian or a bad Christian, depending on your if you agree with them, you're a good Christian. Well, I agreed with them on a lot of political stuff, so I was a good Christian. My wife was a bad one. And I got to tell you, I know my wife is a hell of a much better Christian than I am. And he winds up saying, so there's got to be something wrong when anybody tells you you are a good or a bad Christian, depending on your political point of view. That's not the American way, he said.
It also ties into something you talked about comedy when you were in the part where you're talking about Jerry Lewis, which is we can start to talk about your early career, which gets pretty fascinating. But when you stopped while talking about Jerry Lewis and talked about the way you put it was if you're comedically empowered, I'm paraphrasing you have a once you become so popular for making people laugh that you can do whatever you want next, you can continue to be a clown, or you can rise to the papacy. And you said, and that idea that certainty is the enemy in comedy as well. That, not to put words in your mouth, but that Jerry Lewis being an example of somebody who became so certain of himself and his sense of control, his need for control, that maybe he started to get a little unfunny.
He became a kind of pope figure.
Mm-hmm.
He makes his own point. I don't have to talk about that. If you've ever seen the years of the muscular dystrophy telethon, you can watch him at the beginning being the most hilarious 35 years ago or however many, I mean, he was the funniest man I ever met. And we all but died laughing, Ed Simmons, my partner, and I. And then little by little, he became, he knew everything. And every year he did that telethon as the master of ceremonies. And you can see him change over the years and become that figure. When they split up, everybody thought Jerry was going to have a huge, huge career. What was Dean going to do without Jerry? And Dean did better.
Yeah.
And now I guess you now tell him about the birthday candle. Jerry Lewis is
as funny a moment as I can ever recall.
Please.
This blew my mind.
Please tell this.
We were doing, I think, the third or fourth Colgate Comedy Hour, and the guys were in Chicago. So they were at the Chez Paris in Chicago, and we were staying at and I forget the name of the hotel, the fanciest hotel in...
Drake? The Drake?
Did you say Drake?
The Drake.
No.
Was it the Drake?
No.
This is the worst game show I've ever been on.
The Drake. It was Jerry's birthday, and Eddie and I, we were on the same floor, and we went to pick him up. We were all going out to dinner. We were going to meet Dean in the lobby. And we knocked on his door. Again, this was his birthday. And, come in. And so we opened the door. It was pitch dark. And we tiptoed in the darkness. And suddenly there was a lit candle. I mean, a match lit. And as the match descended, we saw... him with an erection and sitting naked with an erection and a baby candle in it.
Wait, in it?
Singing happy birthday to you, happy birthday.
Wait,
Jerry Lewis.
Norman...
The king of comedy and the king of birthdays.
I have a couple follow-up questions on that. How long do you think he'd been waiting there for that? Do you think it was like
Long
5
enough
minutes?
to get an erection.
I think he could have heard the knock and run into
Oh, really? The candle was in?
The candle, no, he'd have to be sitting there a little while with the candle.
Yeah, there was preparation there.
Now,
how long was the candle in his dick?
Just so you guys know, November 12th.
That's when it took place?
No, that's my birthday. You're invited, Norman.
If the lights are out, don't worry about it.
Yeah, if the lights are out, please come inside.
I always wonder when I hear these old Hollywood...
I have to go back to say that there was never anybody funnier than he was in those years. And that was a hilarious prank among thousands of hilarious pranks.
No, you literally, truly loved him. I mean, you say so. You praise him to no end.
He had a little play. He was on Amalfi Drive in Pacific Palisades, and he had a playhouse next door. I mean, in the back, the Garon Playhouse, named after his sons, Gary and Ronnie. And Eddie and I he'd be behind the bar, getting us we were not drinkers, but in the afternoon, and we'd say you're 86 years old. So he'd become 86. You're 86 years old with an Italian accent, and you're blind in one eye. You're hearing your aunt call you from another room, and there's a baby crying, and we just throw things at him, and he'd do everything you asked him to do, and combine them, and until we fell apart.
Yeah, yeah. It occurred. I mean, I didn't mean to bring him up in a bad light when I brought him up immediately. It was the connection between in politics and in comedy, certainty being the enemy, and it was curious when you watch today's comedy, like it's just really like this. Our country loves its comedy, and we're a very successful country, and our comedy is very successful, and it's institutional. And to what extent, you very quickly gravitated towards controversy in your comedy. You went out of your way. When you could have easily taken the path most traveled, you tended to end up on projects that were causing letters and to be written.
That wasn't the intention at all. There was no such intention.
Not like you were Geraldo Rivera, but you wanted people to have a discussion.
No, wait a minute, what got that laugh?
I said it's not like you were Geraldo Rivera or something. I'm not saying you're like a controversy junkie, like you wanted to make headlines with your shenanigans.
We were. I learned. I mentioned my father going away. When my father went away, my mother was selling all the furniture. She had to get out of the house. She couldn't live there in shame anymore, and. It was like 2 nights after they had taken him away, and the house is full of people who were looking at the furniture. Especially, killed me to see somebody thinking of buying my father's red leather chair, from which he controlled the dial of the radio and so forth, like Archie Eves all those years later. But somebody, an adult, buying this stuff I couldn't bear him to start with, puts his hand on my shoulder and says, "Well, Norman, you're the man of the house now." So under those circumstances, you're looking at a kid in that situation and you're telling him he's the man of the house. Somehow I got a sense of the foolishness of the human condition. That was just, in its own stupid, ugly way, hilarious. And I got it, and that's what we wrote out of. There wasn't any subject that we ever dealt with that wasn't in the neighborhood. They weren't talking about down the street, across the street. Women went through what women went through, men and, parents and their kids, the kids in school. All the things we did were just out of what we were reading about or hearing about or living through.
When you were doing All in the Family, like in some of the more, some of the topics you dealt with and that were very controversial for the compared to what else was going on the air, did you get a lot of interference from the network or studio at the time? Did they have any say on the set, like during the week of rehearsals?
Yeah, no, they yeah. It took me 3 years to get the show on because ABC, who bought it the first time, laughed like hell but wouldn't put it on.
There were 2 pilots for All in the Family.
There were 3.
3.
There were 2 pilots and then the on-the-air show. The 2 pilots had Gene Stapleton and Carol O'Connor, the 2 leads, and different young couple. I kept thinking I could improve the young couple, and happily, it took 3 years and 3 makings, tapings, before I got Rob Reiner.
So he wasn't your. You described you were friends with Carl Reiner, and you described little Rob Reiner being hilarious on the floor because he had been raised around comics.
My oldest daughter, they're both 68 years old, and my oldest daughter and he were playing together, and he was teaching her how to play jacks, and because he had been 8 years old or 7 years old, hanging around his father and his father's Jewish friend, comedians, he was talking like this. So, that's the way you do it. You punch the ball and then you pick up the ball.
But you said he wasn't doing impressions of anybody in particular. He had just adopted a comedian's personality.
Right? He grew up around Sid Caesar's, the whole cast of your
But he wasn't just parroting them. He had affected their language.
It rubbed off. Totally.
I wanted to talk. Well, what I was leading you down the road of was just to get the Master Jedi to make a quick commentary about today's comedy. But I'm not going to lead you to that whatever. Who cares? But because I was just a little curious about what somebody for whom politics and comedy were both like inseparable. Because when you look at today, when everything seems decidedly non-controversial in terms of comedy, when
not
talk
if
show
you're
hosts,
watching South Park.
well, yeah, South Park is amazing. Yes,
Do you watch South Park?
I do watch South. Well, I watch it when I can. There's so very much.
He officiated Trey Parker's wedding.
Really?
I just read.
Amazing. That's amazing. That's
And
amazing.
you've sat in their writer's room, right?
Fantastic.
He does bar mitzvahs. He does quinceañeras.
I can be at anybody's house tomorrow morning.
Competitive rates.
Your career began. So we've touched on your dad. So there's this part. It's amazing in your book how you parse it out. You even in your book, you're stirred by this and confused by your relationship with your father. And
Can we find out who it is?
Yeah. Who is it?
I don't know. I gotta find out.
Please be Rob Reiner.
I have 6 kids, and I always tell them.
Please be Rob Reiner.
well, if Rod Serling wrote this, that's your dad.
It is Brianna Lear.
It's Jerry Lewis's lawyer.
Sorry, bud.
It's Jerry Lewis's lawyer.
No, it is a daughter at Vassar who just got something she sought, and she
great.
couldn't be happier about it. Thank you.
You said you have 6 kids. You said.
I have 6 kids. My kids range from 21 to 68.
Yeah, you have a daughter.
Try that on for size.
Yeah.
You have a daughter that's 50 years
And I
older.
did that with small hands.
So when for those people, those young people planning to have kids, it's good to have them 50 years apart, right? Because then the older one doesn't pick on the little one as much. It's less bullying.
They're all, may I say, they're all very close. Very close.
Who's the worst one?
I'm the worst one.
So your career starts as like your childhood is sort of like your feelings about your dad are so prominent, and the thing that you later reveal after you've talked about your exploits for a while, and you touch back on it, and you say in the book, there's a word I haven't been using, and that word is fraud. Like, I talked about the trouble that my dad got into. So your dad's like sort of inauthenticity was a huge factor in your life that was very confusing to you. You loved the guy. So then he goes away. You let's put a pin in World War II for a second, which you fought in. It's impossible to interview you, and I'm a terrible interviewer, and you are impossible to. You'd have to take just any chunk. Just talk about civil liberties for 6 hours. But your writing career. I mean, you initially wanted to be a publicist. You wanted to be.
I had one uncle who used to flick me a quarter when he saw me. And I just got a picture of him today from his granddaughter, someplace in Maine, where she went for whatever reason. She went to her mother's. Her grandmother just died. And she was going through all this stuff, and she came across some pictures of this uncle that used to flick me a quarter.
And what was he flicking you a quarter for? What had you done that was
Nothing.
so great?
He just liked me and flicked me a quarter.
Oh, what's up?
That was my role model, an uncle who could flick a quarter. I wanted to grow up to be a guy who could do that.
I
have a niece right
You didn't
now.
want more quarters
And I
from
can do
him.
that.
You can still flick a quarter?
What?
Can we get a quarter here?
See, I have a niece, but I don't think a quarter would work anymore. I think that you
Why? Because they added zinc
No,
or something?
well,
Somebody give this man a quarter.
I remember sitting on a fire escape with my mother and my father and my sister on a hot summer's night, and the conversation for 20 minutes was whether they could afford to give me a dime or a quarter. I can't remember what that was, to go get a pint of ice cream at the drugstore. That's how much a dime or a quarter.
You got ice cream from the drugstore?
Yes, from the drugstore.
That's the best place.
Before there was ice cream.
I used to in high school. I would go to Thrifty's drugstore and get ice cream when I was a kid.
Okay, so you kind of you
Don't interrupt my ice cream
Talk
story.
about the
Dan.
war.
your entry into writing.
You were talking about the war.
Well, I was put a pin in the war because we'll be here all night. I mean, we could go back to it in a second. But you come out of the war interested in the world of publicity. You end up writing just as if it was a moving job. You cared. It was a way to keep from going broke. But the audacity of you that this was it. Danny Thomas what was your first gig that you, or was it, who was the guy that you called?
Danny Thomas.
Did you want to just tell that story really quickly? This is because people no, take your time. I was like, people. I'm on panels and people say, "How do you break into the business?" Listen to this method.
I read in Variety or the Reporter that Danny Thomas's agent was William Morris' office. I had an idea for Danny Thomas. Called his office at 12:30 or so. Hopefully, hoping that he would be at lunch. Got his secretary on the phone. He was at lunch, and was talking as fast as I could. I said, "I'm Norman Lear. I just spent 3 days with Danny Thomas. I'm writing a big story for the New York Times. I'm at the airport. I'm going back now. Hope they're calling my plane. I've got to talk to him. I have 2 questions. I'm going to write it on the plane and file it when I get to." And she gave me his number. So I called his number, and he answered the phone. He was alone in the house with his accompanist. I even remember the guy's name. Wally Pop was his name. And he was going to appear at Ciro's, a nightclub, a very famous nightclub on the Strip, the very next night at a Friars Frolic. It was a show business event. Everybody there would know his material, he said. And he was looking for something in his, that went back a few years that they hadn't heard. And I said, well, this is brand new. They haven't heard it. And he said, it has to be short. I said, it's very short. Whatever I had to say. He said, all right, get your ass over here. So I said, well, this is like, 1:15. I said, well, we'll be there. I can be there by 4 o'clock. He's mad, and he says, you say you're calling from Hollywood, I'm in Beverly Hills, I'm 20 minutes away. What do you mean, 4 o'clock? But we hadn't written this thing yet. So he said, if you're not over here by 3 or whatever the hell. He said, we got there. He read it. He liked it. It told very easily. And he did it the next night, and he killed. And we were in the kitchen at Ciro's, peeking out through a curtain, and saw him just. And I got a call the next morning. Could we be in New York? Do we write television? I said, yes, we write television.
Hey, everybody, why not? It was new.
Norman, I'm sorry. How old are you at this time?
I'm 29. 29 or 28,
okay.
Something like that.
Amazing.
He had already, fought in World War II.
Yes, of course.
Voluntarily.
Was Danny Thomas? Was he already on? Was Father Knows Best? Right? Was that on or no? Was that later?
No, it's later.
Yeah, later.
No, it's Father Knows Best was later. He was a nightclub comic. Okay. He was a nightclub raconteur. It's like nobody else. He told long stories. And
I like his style.
Like lots of them biographical, and there was nobody else like Danny Thomas. He could tell a story for 8 minutes and get 1,000 laughs along the way.
Wow!
So we wrote this story for him.
So that audacity, which you have this remarkable combination of audacity and acquiescence, which I have a question about in a second. I swear it's going to be great. But what this?
Wait till you hear this question.
Yeah. But in those moments, like your career beginning like that, just because by sheer force of will and through, let's call it, dishonesty. I mean, it's a negative word, but like you were lying to Danny Thomas, you lied to him, you lied to his agent, you lied to him on the phone. You were a con artist in that moment, and your oh no, Norman! Whoa. Well, how do you reconcile that with this already irreconcilable relationship with the spirit of your dad?
I was all about doing good for Danny Thomas.
Right.
I had something for him he couldn't get anywhere else in the world.
Well, that was going to be my unforgettable question that I was about to ask. Is this unique blend of audacity plus acquiescence? My suspicion was that it's actually a surplus of personal security, that you're so good that you don't mind listening to other people's needs. And
this is a little piece. I've done a few interviews over the years. This is the first time anybody called attention to that. You're absolutely right to call attention to it, but it is the first time I'm thinking about it. I lied to the secretaries, telling her who I was, and I lied to him. Well, I didn't really lie to him, but I didn't say yes or no as to whether I had written it. But let's call it that lie. Now I have to make my peace with that.
Well, gosh, no, it wasn't a crime. You did.
What did you do?
You did fine.
Dan, what did you do?
I broke Norman
Lear.
What did you
do? Oh my God!
I've said
it's all been a sham, Lear.
What did you do, Dan? Dan,
your stories about your dad make it sound like your dad was just bad at something that you turned out to be very good at.
No,
like you.
My father was selling fake bonds.
Right. He was. You use the word fraud later, and it's like hard. It sticks in your throat to say the word fraud.
Because I'd rather call him a scoundrel.
Right. And so that's how. Well, I guess.
Or a rascal. That's a good one.
I love a rascal.
But it's okay. Well, we don't have to. I mean, I'm not Freud. I'm not going to I just. Yeah. I guess my answer is you hadn't thought about it. Like how that sort of applies when you're going like. Yeah, well, I'm at a gas station. That's why I'll be 3 hours. Okay, I have to write this thing, which is like I've done that a lot too. And I guess I wonder, like, for you, is writing? Is it a magical thing that people are born to do, or is it a means to an end, and you could do anything you want because you're a god? It's a loaded question. No matter which you answer, you sound like a prick.
I sound like a what?
If you took either of those options, you'd sound like a prick. I guess I created a trap there. I just mean, is writing this? Did writing become? You weren't a kid.
You have to. In order to write, you have to be a prick.
Thank God. Well, yeah, if you met Vince Gilligan, he ruins it for everybody, right? Oh, Vince is so nice.
He's really nice. He's
he is
super nice guy. Really nice. Hope to work with him.
I think my question is writing in the blood, or is writing just another thing you can learn to do, like juggling, or? No,
I think writing is its own. A writer pays attention to life. I'm not with the conscience of forethought, but differently from the average person. Because I've spent a lot of years when I wasn't writing and a lot of years when I was paying more attention to everything when I was writing. And I'm doing that now. We're doing a new show. This is Brent Miller sitting here. We're doing a new show together. And next to him is Kiyomi. And when you call me, she says hello.
Yeah, well, I'll give props to it's Steve Levy who hunted Kiyomi down. Is it Kiyomi?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I said on this stage it was a fantasy to have you up here, and Steve Levy went and made it a reality so I could show what a bad interviewer I am. But because it would have been fine as a fantasy, but here we are. And yes, this you're doing a thing for Netflix that sounds really interesting. It's sort of I don't know if you're offended by the word reboot, but you're revisiting One Day at a Time.
Yes.
With Rita Moreno.
Rita Moreno?
Rita Moreno.
Oh my God!
We're doing a Cuban-American version of One Day at a Time, and she is the older generation. Justina Machado, who's just great, is playing the daughter, and I forget the name of the young actress who plays the granddaughter. 3 generations of Cuban Americans, and they're gorgeous and brilliant.
Yeah, and plus, black people, like, we saved them already with TV, right? But speaking of
what
which,
are you doing? What are you doing right now? Oh my God! Oh my God! I'm so sorry, Norman Lear. I'm so sorry.
One of these examples of audacity plus
Holy shit.
acquiescence. One of these examples of audacity plus acquiescence is this. It's briefly touched on in the documentary I saw.
What's the documentary called?
Jesus Christ!
My bumper sticker reads "Just Another Version of You."
That's the title.
And
okay?
that's the title.
Just look at his bumper when you want to remember.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now.
Just Google Norman Lear, you piece of shit.
Bring in the car.
Bring in the car. Bring in the car.
In between Good Times and the Jeffersons, there's this anecdote. Good Times was it literally like the first black family on television in a sitcom, at least. I mean, it was
literally in any version.
Yeah, and so there's kind of like you got this. You have that amazing feat, which is breaking the syndrome of people are watching television and they're taking their cues. The national psyche it can change. We have a responsibility to change it, and so there's this amazing feat in terms of a writer's accountability to the public trust. And then at the same time, there's a guy on it whose catchphrase is dynamite, and there's conflict, therefore, on the set. The documentary touches just on this. It can't be an easy set of highway cones to thread. Then there's this anecdote about like 3 Black Panthers show up, come to your office and say they want to talk to the garbage man. I want to talk to Norman Lear, the garbage man. Yeah. And they storm into your office and say, Good Times is bullshit. How do you have this guy? They read you the riot act. Now, pause here, and anybody listening, put yourself in this situation. Like, how acquiescent are you going to be? You, in that moment, maybe not in that moment like it's Forrest Gump, but you credit that moment as starting us down the road toward the Jeffersons. So you're still listening. You've already proven that you're the king of television at that point, and people are barging into your office to call you a garbage man, and you listened to them and took their feedback and made another great show that was great from another perspective.
What were the Panthers? What were they most because they were living in the projects, because they were downtrodden, or
they just wanted to talk about why their big bellyache was, why does the guy have to hold down 3 jobs? Since occasionally in an episode, it almost seems like he's looking for a 4th. He's so hungry to make some money to support his family, and why can't there be an affluent black family on television? They didn't get as far as why can't there be that, but they were pissed off that the only family that existed. The guy had to hold down 3 jobs.
And you didn't say, "Hey, you didn't get mad." You're like, "Oh, you have a point."
When they came in looking for the garbage man, I did take him over to the window and pull the curtain aside and said, "Look down there. You see 3. We were on the 3rd floor. See down there. You see those cans and so forth. The garbage man can't be far from there." So they said, okay.
There was confusion.
But Jefferson spun off of All in the Family? Or where did... Yeah, George was on All in the Family, right?
They lived next door.
On All in the Family, Lionel was his good friend. And they moved in. The Jeffersons moved in next door to the bunkers. On Maude, Esther Roll played the maid on Maude, and she was just dynamite, and
it's pronounced dynamite.
And we on Maude we introduced her husband John Amos, and the network said there's a show in those 2 people. So
because I mean, I was born in '73, so I was like a little kid growing up on some of your shows, and then then there was syndication and stuff that like I got to watch it all from the very beginning. But like those, this might be.
I have 51 years in this, man. Holy shit! He looks to me like a friend of my dad's.
Well, that's we drink more than you do.
It's been a long weekend. But like the beauty of those shows is that it's first and foremost the writing. I mean, obviously what the content of those shows was, but also you have these wonderful casts that I don't like. You don't see that a lot. Like the cast of Good Times and Jefferson's and All in the Family, like the acting that went on. Also, some of the most memorable theme songs in the world. We all know every word to those for the rest of our lives. Were you involved in how you selected the themes? Or
I selected it, but I certainly wasn't involved in their creation.
Okay, but you said this is the one.
But I'd like to sing them all for you now.
They were. I mean, your shows are all characterized by something that. I mean, they're like plays. I mean, you tended to.
We did them in front of a live audience, like a play. They were written to play like a play.
And when we talk about multicam as a format, you know, we talk about canned laughter and we talk about the cheesiness and the sanitized artifice of it all. But then we continue to go to that bat. At least I do. I always say, well, we haven't been doing what Norman Lear did. Why we don't have any right to shit on the multicam format until we go back to doing what you were doing. I'm curious, do you have any theories, thoughts, rants, screeds about why is it that we saw you nail it and then turned our backs so willingly? And it was working. It was working as a business model. Your shows were hits. They didn't have, they allowed for 10-second gaps of...
I could listen to the man all night.
They were plays and they were character driven and they had stories to them and you didn't think. Why is it that we went from that to what we have now?
There are a lot of shows that are paying. Modern Family is paying attention. That's about a lot of important things. It's a wonderful show, and as I say, Seth MacFarlane and
but what about
South Park?
But what about multicam sitcoms, though? Or if you...
Well, I love what's his face? What's the name of the show? Carmichael. I think Carmichael is terrific.
I haven't even heard of this. You whippersnappers come on this show.
Gerard Carmichael. He's a 28-year-old comedian. He is the centerpiece of a family, of a show. They do it live. And it's terrific.
All right, hipster.
Then there is Blackish.
But Blackish isn't multicam, right?
Made in front of a live audience. Terrific show.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll check it out. Yeah. Ish.
Yeah. And Wednesday night we're making the first episode of One Day at a Time.
Wow.
So, this ability to listen to people who barge into your office and are totally you would be entitled to not listen to them. You'd be entitled to not listen to anybody. You clearly didn't have to come here listen to my bullshit. You're still watching other people's comedy. I'm 43 and have already started down the road of total obsolescence because I don't. Why are you so nice? Is it? Well,
what's your problem?
What are you hiding, Norman?
Here's a fact. It has taken me 93 years, a bunch of months, several weeks, a lot of days, minutes, seconds, to get to this fucking second.
It's a tough booking, this show. It is.
It has taken everybody who's applauding has taken every bloody second of their lives to get here just to be looking in this direction at me.
So you remind yourself.
So
that
if you add that up against my 93, I'm way ahead.
Norman,
No, but seriously, the answer to the question is living in the moment.
But that sounds like that's leading automatically to empathy, because it sounds like you're talking about you can sense you don't have to remind yourself, whereas my therapist has to remind me that they are people. Like you're by being in the moment, you are them. You are the people that barge into your office and call you a garbage man. You are them. You are another version of them. That's your I figured it out.
No, I have sat here. You know how you can have 90 strains of thought in your brain at any one moment.
You can.
But again, well, then 4.
I top out at 2. I'm like, oh, holy shit, Norman Lear's here. What am I going to ask next? Those are the 2 thoughts I can hold in my head.
But I've wondered about these faces, and some I can't see back there with the lights. But, everybody has, put it this way, if you have some sense of the Creator's design here, the enterprise, this being a planet among a billion, in a universe of which they say there are also billions, then can you get your fingers close enough to measure the importance or the impact of any 2 individuals? From Albert Einstein to anybody sitting here, if you appreciate that we all matter, and how much we matter, you can't, as I say, you can't get your fingers close enough to measure.
And so it may as well be
that, and living in the moment, and I don't know. I love waking up in the morning. It's my favorite. I don't have a more favorite thing.
Are you guys applauding the morning, or did you get the sense he has a heart out in here?
Norman, when like a famous person dies that is touched, do you text like some of your friends and say, I love you, I just really appreciate you, and you just like say David Bowie dies and you're like going, oh man, it hurts me so much, and you want to reach out to your friends and say, I really appreciate you. I think that's I really, you're only going to be here for so long, and I appreciate you.
It's something he does to me every time someone dies. It could be a famous person, it could be a loved one. He texts me that he loves me. I take it as a criticism of my lifestyle.
Do you think? So I want to know which one of us is right. Yeah.
I think you're both wrong.
Okay, good.
All right.
Good.
Well, I think that's where we'll give him his freedom. Watch for One Day at a Time on Netflix. June, July. I think it's June or July. Just Google One Day at a Time Netflix, and the movie, a different version of you, is another version of you.
That'll be out in July.
July. Okay, so it's January is the Netflix thing. Yeah. I mean, everything's a Google away. Why do we do the whole plugging thing anymore? Also, it's Norman Lear. Why are we plugging Norman Lear stuff? I like to give the kids a chance, keep them off the street. That's part of our outreach program here.
Can I just say this was great?
Oh, thank you. I hope to God that you're not just being nice.
It was worth waiting all this time for.
Yeah!
All right. Norman Lear, the legend, the icon, the human being, the son, the father, the writer,
the
producer.
Holy Ghost.
The Holy Ghost. Coming to a theater near you and still on your television. Thank you so much.
The fellow that has to sit here holding this cannot drink at the same time.
That's, all right,
So
notes.
next time you might.
I will listen to those notes. They're coming from a good source. Thank you, Norman.
What are you guys talking about? What are you talking about over there?
Yeah. What are you guys talking about?
I like the coloring of the beard and so on. And I told him that if the animals were collecting us, he'd be a prize.
Yeah.
All right.
Just sit back down and just stay. Stay forever. Don't leave us.
Norman Lear. All right.
Unbelievable.
I like his style.
I don't want him to go. I'm sad now.
I know. I like his style. I'm going to dress like that.
I think it's weird that he thinks about animals collecting people, though. That's a weird instinct.
Hopefully he'll come back and we can just expound on that.
I mean, isn't that something that somebody would say if that was a person that collects people? Like he has a bunch of heads on his wall?
If anyone could get away with it.
You have a collectible face.
That new Russell Crowe movie with him and Ryan Gosling, you look just like him. He's starting to look more like you day by day.
Shots fired, Russell Crowe. But I want to hit the gym.
Was that? I wanted to ask Norman Lear about the Underoos situation in the Avengers trailer.
That's Stan Lee, you fucking asshole.
You don't know it isn't.
He got Norman Lear mixed up with Stan.
I did not.
I thought that was your joke.
No.
Okay. Anyways.
I wanted to know if he pays attention to that stuff.
Sinatra. He yelled at Sinatra on the phone. World War II, a little thing called World War II. It's impossible to... It's impossible.
What did he flew in?
Ask me some
he
stuff.
flew in bombers or something like that?
Yeah, he was in one of those fucking things.
He bombed Germany, yeah.
I think he might have been in the other theater. I can't remember.
Theater of War.
Was it Japan?
Why do they call them theaters, by the way? So creepy.
Because always make an entrance.
Yeah.
It was.
And never be the first to leave. Yes. Whatever.
It's where we got. It used to be. Well, break a leg used to be blow off a leg.
Gross.
All right. Well, now we got to figure out what to do for an hour.
I think we just weep mournfully and think. Oh, also, I've never been that nervous with a guest that we've ever had.
I was okay. I was pretty cool.
You were crying. I saw you. You were weeping.
I was crying a little bit.
You kept putting on your glasses and taking them off and wiping beautiful giant tears out of your eyes.
Yeah, I was looking at some vines though. Got some. My feed is sick.
I had a
right.
I had a
Steve
dream.
Levy, right? I got a sick feed, man. I do some revining. That's
I had a
fucking
dream.
Sick, Norman Lear, man.
I had a Jefferson's dream when I was probably like
so hot.
It was really hot. I was probably like in my mid-20s. I dreamed that I was JJ, and I was getting it on with Thelma, his sister. But it wasn't like an incest thing. I had such a crush on her, and I was JJ, and like I just kept like finding ways to be around her when she was naked. And then she realized that I wasn't her brother, but I was still JJ Walker, but I was fucking Thelma. It was really good.
It's good times, not Jefferson.
Good times. I'm sorry. Good times.
I couldn't wait to correct you.
Well, I mean, I had good times. Jefferson's dreams too.
But also, Mary Hartman, like we didn't even scratch the surface. Which, by the way, it was a soap opera parody. I've seen like half of an episode, like back in reruns when I was a kid. Like to really, we should watch Fernwood Tonight, which I haven't seen enough of.
Tonight. This
is experimental television.
So
it was talk about
Taco Bell about it. Taco Bell, man. Taco Bell, man. Like run for the border, man. Think out of the box, man. Taco Bell about that shit, man. Mary Hartman. Let's Taco Bell about. Let's Listen, let me get my. Let's Taco Bill about it. Let's Taco Bill about.
This
Let's
segment brought to you by
Taco
Del
Bell.
Taco.
Taco Bill about it. We could Taco Bill about it. Let's Taco Bill about it. Taco Bill about it.
See, again, this is why people should subscribe. For $5, you can see that Rob wrote taco and a shitty bell on a card, on the back of an envelope.
He's probably still here and now knows for sure we're stupid. He might have come back.
This
if it
is
weren't
the
for
smartest
Taco
I've
Bell
ever
run.
been.
I felt
I
like,
wanted to be grown up tonight.
I kind of felt, Dan, like we shoot him off. Did he really have a hard out? I feel like he would have stayed for a while.
I think he wanted to stay. I think he just didn't like you.
Well, a lot of people, I don't want to ruin what could have been a great historical segment for Harmontown, but toward the end he farted, and I was so nervous about being professional and like
not
making
cool.
it like a
But you did a great
contained thing, and then there was a big applause thing that was kind of like summed up. It was like, oh no, what if I go past that, which I could constantly do, and then I was like, all right, get out of here, they're applauding.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about World War II a lot. I thought that'd be fascinating. It's a weird, awesome third dimension.
Yeah, man, Charlie in the Bush.
But
that was one of his worst sitcoms, by the way.
But we could talk about that stuff without asking him questions. That's why I'm a bad interviewer, because really I just want to talk about stuff.
You did a good job because you read the book.
And I try to just, but really I could just talk about...
Dan read the book.
He listened to the book.
He listened to the book. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh,
Is the audio version of his book him reading it or somebody else? Is it like...
No, it's him.
That's awesome.
That's a feat, too. That's another feat. That's fucking hard, reading your book into a microphone. It probably took like 6 days. Because yeah.
I think probably less.
Well, we'll never know now because I fucked up the interview.
You did a good interview. You did a very good interview. I think you ought to be.
I wasn't
commended.
fishing for that.
But you caught a nice 20-pound compliment. You did good, Harmon.
All right. Well, now what?
I think we.
You're so goddamn fun when something else is going on, and you're what now?
What? I am fun.
What were you talking about? Why did you send me a clipping of a comment? Like what are you still reading Reddit threads about Community for?
I just said some of the worst parts of Community were my fault.
Were you in a Community subreddit?
No.
Where were you? What were you?
I just typed my name into. I don't care about anything else, man. I'm just looking up me, man.
What's the best case scenario typing in your name? And
she's so fucking hot. So hot. So hot.
Well, if you're not going to take my question seriously, then
no, I am.
I can't believe you're still doing that.
Thinking I'm hot?
There's nothing but pain there.
No, I know. But look, we as humans, we seek out pain. We do. You have something that goes on the air. When Lego 2 comes out, I'm going to be digging for the one, and it is only going to be one bad review of that
Rob,
movie.
you directed the highest rated episode of season 6.
That is true. I didn't know that. What is it? The last one?
Steve Levy, back in your room.
The last one? The last episode?
It's probably the last one. Yeah.
Was it the last
Everyone
episode?
showed up to bury the show.
What was it? Paintball.
Okay. All right. Well, a lot of people are probably wondering, so the first half of the show is the show, and then the second half is just talking about the show, how the show's going?
We could do some improv.
All right. Let's do some improv. What's a controversial topic?
I think you guys should do like a 70s sitcom. I think you should do like a Are you doing Rockford Files? Okay.
The sitcom.
Rockford Files, the sitcom.
All right. The year is 2014. Lego movie just came out. It all goes downhill from here. Ding dong.
Oh, that sounds like someone at the doorbell. I'll get it, Martha.
Okay, Jeremiah. Help me, God. Help me, please. Help me so much.
Martha!
Help me.
There's a Mothman on the
Help
porch.
me. Help me, my wings fell off. I can't get home. I gotta get... Help me, please.
This is terrifying.
Help me, please, Rockford Files, please. Rockford Files, my giant Mothman wings fell off. I can't get home. Rockford Files, please help me. I left a message on your machine, but nobody answers.
I heard
Rockford
your
Files.
message. Now, if you know whom I am,
I do. Rockford Files.
then you know I'm a straight dealer, not a double dealer. But you know I'm swift to justice if someone hurts the people I love. With that, come on in.
Okay. Oh, could I have some of that warm soup cooking on your stove, sir? I'm so cold. I'm so cold without my big old Mothman wings, please, sir. Could I have some of that soup cooking on your stove, sir?
Martha, give him some soup.
This is the last of our soup, sweetheart.
Just a little nibble on the soup, please.
Now.
Just a little nibble on your your wife's soup.
Honey.
I want to have some of your wife's soup, please, right now,
Honey, come over
Jim
here. Come over
Rockford.
here. Honey, can we talk privately in the kitchen? I didn't work all day making soup so I can serve dirty moth people.
I'm not that dirty. Should I wait in the living room?
Oh!
Should I wait in the living room?
I didn't know your hearing was that
I
acute.
thought you said to both... Oh, you're being I'm going to wait in the living room. Okay, I'm going to wait in the living room.
I was trying to be racist, but quietly.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry you had to hear
wait
that.
in the living room.
But you know, now that the cat's out of the bag, I don't like dirty moth people in my house. I'm a racist.
You know something?
I'm a racist 1970s housewife.
You know something? I don't like him. I don't like him that much either.
You're a self-hating moth person?
Yeah. If you had a shower or a towel, I would clean off this dirty moth person that you see before you. If you give me a shower.
Okay, I have a shower. I take.
Which way does the shower?
It's right upstairs.
Right upstairs in your mobile home.
Yes, we're.
It's a double decker. It's fine.
Double decker.
It's fine. I'm going to climb up the rope.
This is why every time you talk to a moth person, you get the fucking third degree.
This is the shower right here.
Moth people, you circle the light of my boredom.
This is the shower. This is your shower.
Yes.
Okay, I'm stealing it. Fuck you. I was lying about the wings. I flew that fucking out of there, man.
He flew away with our...
He stole our shower, honey. Why did I take all that time cross-stitching that little thing that we have above our door that says, no mothies? I'm a racist housewife.
Well, we still have our soup.
Meanwhile, in space, boom, 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 boom.
Hello.
Hello, Commander.
Hi, Bob.
You're looking very fit this morning.
It's a dark T-shirt. Slimming.
I am. I should get one of those. Where'd you get that from?
Navy.
All right.
Old Navy.
Old Navy. I should check that out. Have a seat here. I want to just go over your report. So you said you didn't see a meteor yesterday.
I merely stated what I was told was to be said by my superiors.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever seen this? Have you seen this before? Have you ever seen this? Have you seen this before, Commander? Commander? Commander, have you seen this before? Commander, I am assuming you still have eyes.
Podcast alert. Rob is holding a picture of a person.
Have you seen this person before? It's got big eyes and a mouth that's going...
That's a meteor, not a person.
Exactly. You passed the first test. I'm going to beam you down to Earth. You're going to meet up with Jim Rockford, who's going to help you out with the shower case. Energize.
Oh, no.
Hey, get the fuck out of the road, asshole! What the fuck's wrong with you? Get the fuck out of the road, asshole!
Hey, put some clothes on.
Get the fuck out of the road, you stupid piece of shit!
He's naked.
This is CPH, you motherfucking stupid piece of shit! You fat fuck! Get the fat fuck out of the way!
Get out of CPH!
Yeah, CPH, get the fuck out of the road, man!
This is
I'm gonna
CPH.
turn around and tell you again.
This is California Pacific Highway.
Get the fuck out of the road! Get the fuck out of the road, you piece of shit, you fat fuck! Get on the beach, you piece of shit!
Dude. Kleenex engaged. I hate being from space and being fat. I hate myself. I have body dysmorphia. I am chained by self-esteem. I am bound to society's definitions of beauty. They do not compute with my big synthetic bones. Must eat feelings. Must eat feelings. Car. Feelings not eaten. Need more feelings. Manhole cover. Throwing manhole cover at cop car like a weapon. Must eat police like feelings.
Whoa! I have a family! Jesus Christ!
Must find family and eat it. I'm going back for now tiny driver's license because I got bigger when I ate everything. Family at 1-800 dentist.
Oh, honey, is that you coming? You're early. I haven't made lunch yet.
What?
Oh, honey, is that you coming up the steps? You sound heavier and bigger than normal.
Is this 1-800 dentist?
Yes.
Mommy, what happened to my...
Hear dog inside house, ripping top of house off, finding dog in sewing room.
Hey, come on, come on. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
Is it a talking dog?
Dog's ability to talk lost on me.
You down there, giant spaceman.
You are delicious. You will not. What did you say? Freeze?
We have a special weapon that can neutralize you in moments unless you stand down.
Cut to 5 weeks later at the Oval Office.
I can't believe that big monster fell for it. I said, stand. We never had a special
You're
weapon.
just very good at what you do, Jeff. It's just...
You know, power.
I've been saying it forever, but nobody believes me. You're really good at what you do.
Thank you.
You're really good.
Thank you, Madam
You're that
President.
good.
Madam
You're
President,
that good.
thank you.
You're that good.
Okay, now you're now you're kind of overcooking the lamb chops. You sound sarcastic now.
Mr. President, I have a question about my job.
I was talking to Madam President over there.
Mr. President? I have
Yeah.
a
Don't
question.
assume the gender stereotype.
As Secretary of State, by state we mean country. So if I'm Secretary of it, why am I not in charge of everything?
You're in charge now.
Oh, okay.
I'm sarcastic.
Oh, I mean, why do you need a Secretary of the country? Isn't
What?
that the president?
What?
What do you mean, what?
I didn't hear you. What would you say if you didn't hear me? What would you say if you didn't hear me? Would you say a different word other than what?
I'd say what?
What would you say? You
I'd
would
say
say
what? I'd say what?
Yeah,
But how
I
could you
didn't
not
hear
hear
you.
me? Did a car drive by? I was talking into a microphone.
You were mumbling? You were
I was
looking
not
away?
mumbling. I
Okay,
wasn't
then I did hear
mumbling.
you. Then I did hear you.
What?
I heard you.
What?
Then I did hear
What?
you. Then I did hear you.
What?
Then I did hear you.
What?
Cut to Jim Rockford's apartment.
So you say that somebody stole your shower, madam?
Yes.
I'm sorry, that was foolish of me to assume that only one of you was a woman. I didn't realize that you both had your own shower stolen. Do you live together? Because this is the third shower theft that I've got this week.
And I'm really in trouble. I've got some gum in my hair.
Well, there's an old remedy to get rid of that.
What's the old remedy?
You have to come into this room with me.
Okay. All right. I guess.
Okay, I'll wait out here.
All right. Okay. Excuse me.
And I open up the refrigerator,
Uh-huh.
in the freezer, and I take an ice cube out and I freeze the gum, and it's easier to get out.
Meanwhile, I'm snooping around and I find a shoebox full of Polaroids, and I gasp upon seeing Polaroids depicting ice cubes being applied to hair with chewing gum in it. Kathy, get out of there!
Hey, see, the gum comes right out.
The gum came
Kathy,
right
we
out
gotta
of my...
go right now.
What do you mean?
There's something I have to talk to you about in the parking.
Lockdown.
Oh my God! My hair's been locked down. This gum is never gonna come out of my hair now, thanks to you, you fuck! Fucking asshole. On the night of my best date, this gum is never gonna come out of my hair. You've always wanted me to lose, Dan.
Lockdown removed. Yeah, it seems like I was going to kill you both, but it seems like you guys have a lot of things to work out.
I know it was you writing on Reddit.
I can't go near the internet and type my name in, and you're still doing that. It's insane. Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, I had to turn my back on that world a long time ago. It's sad.
I'm catching up with you.
All right, so that episode will to be continued, like they did in the old days.
Tune in next week on Jim Rockford when he finds out what happened with the shower, and also with the President of the United States finds out what happened with the alien who came from another planet. And coming up next on the Dukes of Hazzard, check out J.R. Ewing is going to be all crazy when he meets Mark and Mindy. Coming up on the fantastic television show that you're going to watch. That's it.
Let's bring out DeMorge Brown.
Yeah!
Don't mind me.
Hi, everybody. How y'all doing?
All right.
You're looking very smart in your blue blazer right now.
Okay. I believe it. I lost a button on it. So
But
it's-
gained a daughter.
Her name is Rosario.
When's the last time you were at a wedding?
Don't
Don't mock me.
I don't know, like 5 weeks ago. I think 5 or 6 weeks ago. Was my friend.
Here's the thing:
married.
a lot of you kids, you're going to get married soon.
Not me, from the looks of it.
A lot of choices you can make when you're doing your wedding. Where are you going to do it? What time of year? Who are you going to invite? How much you going to spend? Here's something that's free to do for me when I come to your wedding. Do a fucking mic check. Do a mic check on your wedding. God damn it, I can't hear a fucking thing from back here. Jesus Christ, how many weddings you go to where it's like fucking windy or there's a train happening and then the fucking pastor or whoever goes and you're like, you can't say at a wedding like, you gotta eat that mic, brother. like something.
Father.
Well, you know,
if
it's
it's
Los
Catholic,
Angeles, so mostly
yeah,
it's just like a friend of a friend. It's not like an actual. But it's like no, yeah. I mean, fucking mic check your wedding. Mic check it.
Hey, I'm on board with that all the way.
Hey, were you at a wedding last night?
Mm-hmm.
Is that why you sent me this drunken text?
Wait, what are you talking about? What drunken text?
You sent me.
He's a man without a country, but...
Wait, start from the top. We need silence. Start from the top. Total silence in the house, please.
Let's see if I can do this without...
What is this?
Biracial swimmer. He doesn't have race, but he's swimming along. Biracial swimmer.
All right, it's coming back to me.
I love it.
There was a guy in the lobby of the Standard. I called biracial swimmer.
I
took a picture of him.
I don't think you were sober.
I got that too, and I thought I missed some connective tissue. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, I
didn't
thought
know
you were there, Jeff, and I was an accidental ad.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Was that guy kicking you out of wherever you were?
No.
Because he was like, "Hey, you got to leave. Hey,
Did you ask him to take that? He's facing
you got to
you.
leave, man."
I know, but well, he was pulling aside a velvet rope so I could go to my suite. And he was biracial swimmer.
Fucking gross.
Sounds like a sitcom to me.
Biracial swimmer. I didn't know.
Talk to him about it, AKA Pablo.
Wait, so did I text a voice message to you? Is that what
I got that too.
No,
I
you
got
didn't.
I got a picture.
Play it? I just did.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
how was the wedding? Aside from the mic problems, did you enjoy it? Did you cry?
I cry at all weddings now because I'm just like, this must have cost a fortune. No, I just had, you start. I think you in your late 20s, you start crying at the dad toasts at the reception, and then you move into the dad plus the brother toasts, and then you move into just all the toasts, and then you start crying during the ceremony, and then you just cry when you walk into a wedding. I just cry the whole time now because it's nice. Yeah, you're catching two people at a moment of bliss.
Are you a crier, DeMorge?
No. I'm going to say no.
By and large, you're not.
By and large, no. But
sounds like a challenge. Sounds like the gauntlet's getting thrown.
Oh no!
Let's make
DeMorge cry. It's a new segment. DeMorge,
yes,
what have you been reading about the situation in Japan?
Well, I know for...
Well, I heard a kid got eaten. And he didn't even deserve it.
By a kappa?
By a what?
By a kappa?
By a kappa?
The Japanese river monster that only eats children.
No, it wasn't cartoonish.
This is real life.
It was grounded and real, and a real child lost its life, and it loved its life.
5, 4.
It was a child that was
3,
excited about
2,
growing up.
1. Oh, he didn't make DeMorge cry.
All right. Guests of Make DeMorge Cry stay at Biracial Schwimmer's Downtown Standard Hotel. Don't you swimmer, biracial swimmer.
A Dunphy Classic hotel. No, not a crier. But I grew up in a house where you showed just Steely Reserve at all sort of emotionally critical moments and stuff.
What house?
The Brown House. It was the Brown House.
There's not a movie that is like a tearjerker for you?
Yeah, man. Flirting, which is the second half of that. There's two Australian movies about the same character. And in the second one, the last sort of monologue that the kid gives you, which is sort of after he's grown up, it just wrecks everything.
I'm like that with the end of Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
Doc Hollywood.
I cry at everything. I'm an easy movie. When the music crescendos, I'm crying. You know what gets me? I won't even watch it. I saw somebody on the plane watching Glory, and I cried, like just looking over it. As I saw that Glory was on, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start crying.
Which scene?
A bunch of them.
That guy just made a sound that sounded like the word taco, but it reminded me of a thing. Pornhub under fire.
Here we go.
Let's do our race in porn segment. It doesn't need to have a theme song if you're.
Yeah.
Pornography is emerging, and so is race. All right.
Oh boy.
Pornhub. I don't even know what they were doing. There was a page that if Spencer was here, he could explain it because I think was it you or was it Spencer? You did it.
I sent it to you.
Do you remember what the context is, Steve Levy? Do you want to come explain it, Steve Levy?
Steve Levy, everybody. Steve Levy.
Hello. It was they were putting emojis for their categories.
Right, but was it specifically like here's emojis you can use?
No, they picked them, and that's what.
Well, yeah, but this is. I'm saying, like, what the hell was their point? What were they trying to do? Like, create a secret code, or
so it was like a cute thing. It was like, here are emojis for our categories.
Right. So yes.
Yeah.
So they were saying, like, when you want to text your friend about porn, like you can use these emojis to mean these code phrases. Is that what it was?
I thought they were doing it on their website as like on their mobile.
All right.
Like
so you don't know.
Yeah.
But at any rate, whatever it was, whatever the context, it was like their emoji for Latina, which is a category of porn, because fetish. It was a taco. I'm going like this because I'm indicating the size of the emoji. Emojis are like, it was a taco, and you know that's valid outrage. Like it taps into it's a new it's like this is so like the
What's the emoji for white person?
I'm sure it's nothing, Rob, because it's the hegemony of normativization.
Hegemony of normatization.
You don't have to say something all the time. I mean, it's just like if you don't, you can. It's just. I mean, it's like. It's not like you're going to get invoiced if there's.
Oh my God!
If you just behave yourself for a second.
So, Steve, you and Dan watch porn together, or you text each other about porn? What's going on?
I saw it was like a top 10 article.
He knows about my passion for.
And I was like, oh, Dan, he's a progressive guy
is that
and
the
likes
issue with it?
porn.
Or is the issue that they're using something that kids.
Well, I think it pokes into a whole larger issue, which I think is a good thing. I think it's great that now these conversations are being had about porn because it's furthering the normalization of porn, being outraged about minutia of porn. Like hey, 10 years ago, an adolescent or young adult Latin person in their Tumblr blog, they would be maybe afraid to say, oh, this is an offensive thing, because they'd be simultaneously copping to awareness of porn, and the comments would be like, "Oh, watch porn much?" I mean, as recently as 10 years ago, that might have been the case. So there's a little silver lining in there.
All right, it's you text Pornhub an emoji, and they send you a video so that you don't have to search. It's like,
so if you text them a taco,
they'll send you a video.
What
that
are
they
the
think
other
you'd like.
races? What is Asian? What is black? What is
Well, they're all pretty. Guess what? Porn.
Mature.
Like it's scissors for lesbians.
Interracial is a yin and yang sign.
That's great.
Yeah.
Home run.
Lesbian is a scissor. Cream pie is a cake with cream in the middle.
So this is like a Montessori sort of porn exercise.
Big dick is the eggplant. Squirting is the little, come on.
Come on. Let's clean it up.
What are the other ethnicities? This is all of them?
Yeah.
Is that the whole?
That's you got it.
What are some of the more specific ones?
So,
not that I care.
It's very dim. Can you brighten it up?
Yeah.
You saving your battery?
I don't know. Good luck.
You gotta save that battery there, Levy.
But
I have like a million.
Anyways, refreshing that porn, which I keep beating that drum.
Guess what?
And other things.
Guess what the cherry? If like 2 cherries, guess what that stands for? What that is?
Fruit salad.
Small tits.
2 cherries?
Yeah, it's dumb. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, that's all. Yeah, there's the problems with the. They were on thin ice before they stepped out the door. They should come out with emojis.
Guess what an old school Atari joystick is with the knob and the red button? Solo male.
That's all porn. Oh, it was in terms of what you're looking at. Oh, okay. Hey, Bob, here's some solo male porn for you.
So all the other ethnicities are flags, like country.
Yeah,
and origin.
see, that's the thing. And this is something that
that's terrifying.
Not just
Japanese isn't sushi.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm serious.
It's not.
Steve Lee.
I thought it was.
Steve.
Come
on.
Guess what the right on fist means.
I have a
you get one guess. Something's pretty funny.
I don't know, but
whoa!
Pantomime?
Guess what 2 crossed cutlasses, like pirate swords. 2 crossed cutlasses.
That's gay porn.
Gay.
Yeah.
Oh, sword fight. Sword
2
fight.
dicks.
All right. Okay. I was slow on that one.
That's the classy one.
I was slow.
Wow.
That makes it fun.
But I just realized, you can flowchart through that now. So imagine being in whatever that think tank is. If maybe they did initially go flag, because that's the easy choice, and then they're like, oh, is that gonna? No, there's no way they went down that road. They're like, oh, that might offend people if you use the Mexican flag. What would a Colombian think? They're like, let's put a taco. I just thought for a second, there must be. I'll bet you $1 million that
is there a llama?
Everybody over there would agree they made a mistake. But the good news is, I just not to beat a dead horse, but I like that today's young person in a sea of outrage and complaint and hashtagging and all that stuff. I like porn being added to that. It represents, to me, who has no horse in the other race, to me it represents porn being closer to the front door and in our living rooms and being talked about. I like it. Talk about porn. Talk about it to understand. Talk about porn. Talk about it. Give your neighbor a hand. Go over at night.
No, don't give your neighbor a hand.
Until we teach people to what the heck it is and what it is and what sexuality is and what. You got to be really careful with that stuff, dude.
Wait, so you should teach people? Yeah, we need to teach people.
We don't, and we shun it, and we block people away. We push it down,
and that's where it turns into like a weird black market like thing, where then you're entrusting sex awareness to, hard working, but maybe not. There's no regulation, and there's no. Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Exactly. We finally agree about porn.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
What do you want porn to become, Dan? What would be your dream future
wants it to stay what it is right now.
The state of porn in 20 years?
Well, I think it should become the equivalent of like cosplay. The way we talk about like the way we compartmentalize our fantasy life from our reality and are comfortable with it, so that people don't get hurt. There's people. We're having conversations now about young women that dress up as Poison Ivy and go to Comic-Con, you're not allowed to they're not saying you're allowed to objectify them just because they're dressed that way, etc. It's like a conversation starting to happen, but it doesn't have anything to do with, as it did 20 years ago, oh, why are you dressed like Poison Ivy if you don't want blah, blah, blah to happen? So it's like what I want for porn, which is an industry that has been for a long time, just rife with suicide and drug abuse and disease and like just sad stories, the exploitation and things like that. Like the more you talk to people who, as a younger generation is coming into it that has a few less cathexes, like you're seeing a little more possibly mental health within the porn world, maybe. But I think we need to. What I would like to see is for porn to be just on the other side of a curtain, where you don't need it to be ever present and visible, but it's like it's also at the same time it's accountable to. The same rules that normal life is. It's just on the other side of a curtain, which means that this life doesn't have to be such a fucking lie. Because then you don't have to have conversations with people where you're like our worship of movies and television and stuff, like it has like this dark side to it where we think that our real life is like not a thing that's worth living because we're not Robert Downey Jr. in a robot armor suit. Like it's like we need to. It would be nice to be able to recognize like that's mythology, and that we use that to entertain ourselves during this very important life that is happening right here. That's very entertaining, even though maybe my podcast is 2 hours long and has no structure to it. I'm advocating for the right to be boring. And yes, I have an agenda.
Here's something I didn't know I was into. Wilma Flintstone.
You did send me that Vine.
Yeah, she was Wilma and Betty Rubble, pretty good.
I mean, I just, because I was checking out cosplay stuff, and then it's just like...
Do people cosplay as Betty Rubble and Wilma Flintstone?
Yes.
They must.
They must. I'm sure
this is what I found out. And
I had a big thing for Judy Jetson. Judy Jetson, wow.
Sure. Same deal.
Yeah.
I'll be checking that out when I get home.
Thelma from Good Times. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thelma from...
it did the job.
From Scooby-Doo is what you're saying.
Velma from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. I mean...
Thelma from the Jeffersons.
I met two girls at a school, I think it was at Smith, it was one of the East Coast colleges. By and large, there's a very large lesbian community there at that school.
Large lesbians or the community is large?
Like both.
Oh, okay.
And somebody was saying, maybe someone here can verify that those schools, like those sister schools, are based on, or Scooby-Doo is based on them, or one school is the Shaggy because the people there get high, and one is the Thelma because everybody there is lesbian, and is that a real thing? It is. Vassar is Shaggy.
Smith is, I think,
Velma.
Freddie's Princeton.
Well, that's
It's one of
yeah.
They all have.
But I met these two girls at a bar in that town, it was like Southampton, Northampton, whatever that is, in Massachusetts, and there was two girls sitting there, and they were dressed exactly like Daphne and Velma. And they were exactly what they were in this thing, but like totally non-ironically, there was just two girls sitting there. Anyway, long story.
I've grown to accept Daphne, in my old age.
Isn't she right in your wheelhouse? Isn't she?
Well, you'd think so, but I didn't like. I mean, I really did. I watched that show, and I really was quite taken with Velma, and it was I really liked her, and so she kind of distracted. It's the Marianne from Gilligan's Island complex. It's like Ginger was a redhead, and she was supposed to push your buttons, but it's like when it's like Marianne had dementia, so you're kind of like, well, then it's like it's a trick. It's like she's not the glamorous movie star. She's got pigtails, and then you're like. You get mad at Ginger. You're like fuck you. You're not beautiful. I hate you. This poor girl. You're oppressing.
I wonder what Norman Lear would thinks of Sherwood Schwartz. Do you think he was like fuck that hack or like?
I kind of want to ask him about Irwin Allen too. Yeah, like people who were prolific, but maybe yeah. But I'm curious. Like, would you ever catch Norman Lear like just talking shit about hacks and stuff, or is he just he
talks shit about later Jerry Lewis? Like he was funny, then he fucking lost his shit, and he wasn't funny anymore.
Yeah,
I think he would shoot straight on that.
You know what? Can I tell a story about that I learned from that book? Him and his partner, last name Emerson. I mentioned him up here. I can't remember his name. That's great, Dan. They were working on for Martin and Lewis, and they went from their first paycheck was they were splitting $700. Which was a big deal to them. It was a lot of money. It was a windfall. And then by the time they were done, like 3 seasons of that show, they were making like $10,000 an episode or something. So you can imagine. I mean, if $700 was a big deal. So and then they there was a full page ad that was taken out, I think by the producers of the show, that just said, you guys have been the unsung heroes of comedy for a long time. We just wanted to acknowledge, sort of probably in Variety or whatever existed then, you guys are great, and mentioned them by name and said, like, hey, Lear and Emerson, like, you guys are great. You've been writing great comedy. Thank you for writing for Martin and Lewis all this time and all this stuff. And then it was like a month later, like Jerry Lewis, like unceremoniously fired them. And Lear points out in the book that in all of his million interviews and books and documentaries and things, Lewis has never acknowledged that anything has ever been written for him. So there's a dot connection there where it's like, is that what society started saying, like, oh, these guys write for you, and then they got fired.
Oh wow! But Jerry Lewis's movies, the ones that he didn't write, where he had writers, those are fucking hilarious because he's one of the greatest physical comedians of all time. Then when he's writer, director, producer, actor, everything, they're garbage. I mean, there'll be a funny scene or two, but
that's what he's talking about. And I was trying to stitch that to, like, look, if I see a talk show, a late night talk show, and it's like, tonight's guest is the Vice President of the United States, and we're going to play tug of war. Gap, gap. Is that comedy? I wanted to ask someone who spent his career because I just wanted to hear him go no, and I go, thank you, because it makes me angry. I don't like institutional apple on the desk. Fucking fun is funny.
I was so intimidated by just his aura and presence, and the fact that he's also this really magnanimous, nice, like.
I was really laid back.
You took it in stride.
I should say that. That was this whole thing that happened earlier was an amazing moment for me because those shows.
Did you know he was going to be here tonight? By the way,
I got tipped to it this afternoon, so I came just to be around it. But it's just, you have to understand that guy
owes me $10.
Sure, but he's like Sidney Lumet, and he's like Haskell Wexler, and these guys who are politically active. And I would say, in his stead, maybe somebody else would have done it, but created the sitcom as a political venture, the political sitcom, which was not just selling soap, but it was saying this is what's going on in the world right now, all things.
Having
and
the conversation.
Yeah, you could list the things that happen. There's a Ron Glass episode that's just about the way we perceive race, and it's split in half. The refrigerator breaks down. They don't have any food or something. Meathead's left in charge, and Archie happens to be there. And then Ron Glass comes in as the repairman. And there's two different versions. And one, he has a gigantic afro and a switchblade. It is the biggest thing you've ever seen, just to eat an apple. And Archie's talking about how threatening this guy is and whatever. And then Meathead tells his version of the story, and it's a totally different thing. And it's hilarious from minute one all the way through to the end. But even as like a kid watching this stuff on my floor, I would just go, Jesus Christ! It's people see
regular use of the N-word in both All in the Family and the Jeffersons. And that was just all constant conversations about the actual thing. My grandpa was a World War II vet who lied about his age so he could be in the war. So he's it's almost, you don't even want to call anyone from the Greatest Generation a conservative or a liberal, because it's like those words have been so polluted. Because it's like, what else could you be if you were a vet? Like I don't fault my grandfather being by our modern definition a little more not the most open-minded dude in the world. And one of my uncles, his only son, was a total hippie. Like, it was a very analogous of the meathead thing, and it was going on in every house in every city. And they would watch All in the Family together. I would watch them watch it, and I was just a little kid, and all I knew is that my grandpa didn't really like my uncle that much, but that they both liked this show. And then one guy would talk, and he would say like the N-word and stuff, and faggot and queer, but then they would take turns laughing. It was like the old guy would talk, and then the old guy in my living room would laugh, and then the young guy would talk, and then the young guy would laugh. And why did we turn our backs on that?
I remember
because of Reagan.
The episode when Sammy Davis Jr. comes on. And,
this is what and
he says, I think someone says he's black. No. Carol O'Connor goes, Archie Bunker says, he's black and Jewish? Oh, that's a two-time loser. and then Sammy Davis, when he leaves, before leaving, plants a giant kiss on his mouth. And it got the audience shrieked with joy. It's really, really amazing.
Well, the big controversial thing was not only that it was Norman Lear was catching it from both sides when that show started. It wasn't a ratings hit overnight. It won Emmys immediately, but it wasn't a ratings hit. And can you imagine? Liberals were mad because there was a lovable bigot on TV, and they kept using that phrase, lovable bigot, and there's footage in Carol O'Connor who you really walk away with so much respect for, because he was so passionate about that role. And as Norman points out, Carol O'Connor was he was fucking out there. The word showrunner didn't exist back then. It was didn't matter that much. This guy was on TV playing this character. So it was liberals were mad that he was a lovable bigot, and bigots were mad because it was clearly making fun of them, etc. It's it was easy to look at it as a no-win situation, but it also was an all-win situation.
It's great. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him and for my parents sticking me in front of the TV. They were really, really strict about stuff and about watching TV and when you could watch it and how many hours and stuff. But if they heard the TV on and they yelled out, DeMorge, what are you watching? And I said, I don't know, it's a Lear thing. They would let me watch whatever it was. And because they knew that it was complex, Jet Magazine or Ebony Magazine would come out and Richard Pryor would be in it or somebody would be in it, and they would mention writing on one of his sitcoms or shows or something. Whatever. Paul Mooney, I think he hired him to write for several shows and stuff. And these are people we had records of, but nobody else talked about it outside of that or knew, And my parents would get these things and they put it in front of me and go, see that guy. And it's insane at every level of him taking, just taking situations and putting them out there. And the mechanics are sound and the jokes are tight, and you're laughing the whole time. But there is so much going on. Maude, with B. Arthur, just attacking these ideas of, in the height of the power women's movement, just everything, what that is to be that, how you deal with menopause, and how you move these things in and out of a storyline and make people laugh, but also make them walk away understanding what's going on. At the end of it all, the studio audience claps like crazy, and it's, it's...
but you don't get the sense that there's like juiced laughter.
No, not at
there's
all.
Comfort with silence. You can hear people clearing their throat. They did a rape episode. They did an abortion episode.
A cancer episode.
If it was something, back then it wasn't like, you go, let's do a special episode and win an Emmy. It was like every step of the way it was always like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, and he always had to say every step of the way.
But All in the Family,
fire me.
Because it's like the sets were just like plays. They were just like community theater sets. They were really like Sanford and Son and All in the Family. Like they were just these really simple sets. The writing is so funny on those shows that they work like satellite radio comedy stations play giant sections of All in the Family or Sanford and Son, and it's incredibly it's vaudeville. It's really good writing. And again, it's character-driven plays. It's really, really crazy.
The Jeffersons was the same setup as any other sitcom I could turn on TV anywhere else and watch. But the people stirring the drink were black, and for me as a kid, it was insane. And the buffoon that was a neighbor was the guy Bentley or whatever. Was a white guy, and just watching this, like this exists. This is happening.
Who was the asshole couple that lived next door to that were always being a bummer? No, there was a multiracial couple, right? Wasn't there like a?
Well, it was Roxy Roker's Lenny Kravitz's mom, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
the big white guy.
Yeah. Oh, Tom, right?
Yeah.
She would always like Tom, and he would go ho 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 ho, hey everybody, and then just these dad jokes that would just fall flat. But then you're just laughing because this is like the least funny guy in the room, but it's by design and by intent. Yeah. I remember adults used to call me in at parties and stuff and like set up kids and like reenact that episode. And people would my little brother would walk around and go, "Whoa, Watchy, how was your day?"
Wait, DeMorge, was there a time like where you? Did those shows come on and you saw the shift where that now there's black leading characters or was that already on when you were like?
It was like in New York there were so many channels that needed programming, and so they would just fill up blocks with everything, and so you could see everything on any given day, and you could essentially binge watch as a kid because you're around in the summers and it's just nonstop. Bob Newhart, the old Bob Newhart show, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh my God, that's funny.
And so you're just getting blasted with this brilliant stuff. But this is like this. I learned immediately, and I think one of our parents even said, if you see Norman Lear's name on something, you can watch it because it's going to be complex, it's going to be important, and he's doing stuff that's not. I mean, and again, like I say, there were these people who existed. Wexler shot Medium Cool and like walked right into the Chicago riots in '68, I think it was. And just shot a movie because that's what was happening now. That's what was important, and he thought art should reflect it. These movements any kind of movement has any successful movement has two things. It has a rhetoric of agitation, which is the thing that's shaking the glass, threatening to break it, and makes everybody back up, and a rhetoric of convergence behind it, which is the thing that sort of makes everybody, people go around it and they just kind of go, okay, look, shut that guy up, and we'll advance you a little bit. And you have to rattle the box, and you have to move it. And in his shows specifically, I think you get, and this might be this thing about acquiescing and stuff, you get both of those elements. The topic for topic, it can be aggressive politically and controversial or whatever.
Well, I think
then also, it's just
I don't know if this is
it exists. So now the playing field is changed.
But another TV person told me when you watch All in the Family, the secret to keeping that thing going was that if you actually watch it through a political lens, Meathead was always wrong politically, and so was Archie. But Meathead was always right about Archie, and Archie was always right about Meathead. Yeah. So because that's what makes it like you can just do that for 100 episodes then because it's never preachy. Certainty being the enemy in politics and comedy and religion and everything. And certainty is the enemy.
And even in that show, I think as an audience, you are often wrong about Edith, and then they take the latter half of that series to prove to you that there was so much more going on in there. And there's a point where they're arguing, and it's the same thing that's been happening every episode. And then she stops and she screams at him, and she goes, "Not this time, not now." Not. And if you watch any of those episodes, your heart stops dead, and you go, "Oh crap!"
All of her secret wisdom that she has, that she can put up with somebody like Archie. Like she's not just a dummy. She's really, really great.
It sounds like it's aggressive preaching, but watch if you haven't seen any of these episodes or any of these things, just watch his shows, and
there's a great clip.
You will be entertained as the top priority.
Awesome clip. I forget what the episode is, but there's a bit. It's so funny, and it will last forever, like in the annals of comedy. It's she asked Archie, "Do you love me?" He's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, Edith." And she nails him down on it, and it's really, really wonderful because she's the straight man, like she's the protagonist in that thing. It's really, really great. And it's Gene Stapleton, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the cast, the acting, fucking amazing.
And then later in life, you see them do things out of that context and realize these are the most brilliant performers, artists in the world.
Yeah, because they're all British and shit. I mean, they may as well be. Like Carol Connor is not. He's not like this. Was it? You know, it's like his accent is not Archie Bunker's accent, and nor is Stapleton's. Like they're jarring, intelligent people. All right, so
sorry, I didn't mean to go off.
I farted the other day.
That was like a life-changing thing today. So thanks for that.
Sorry, Dan. Your fart story got interrupted.
I didn't really fart. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. All right. Well, what have we learned tonight?
I think a whole lot. How about being not the career that guy has, and will continue to have, and like it's Kiyomi, right? Yes. And you work with him and like kind of as what capacity?
Oh God, she's still here. It's so embarrassing. We're talking about your boss all night.
His executive assistant.
Will you come up and just come up and grab a mic? So
if you want to.
Yeah. I was going to say, he's 93.
He is,
and he looks like $1 million.
Yes, he's
groovy and easygoing, and he's not a cantankerous old grouch.
No, not at all.
It's amazing. I mean, or is he?
No, he's not.
All right.
He's very nice.
Yeah. So how did you hook up with him? Like,
I got lucky. I had an agent call me saying that there was a job opening there, and I interviewed for it, and I got it.
And now you're working for Norman Lear.
Yes.
It's amazing. But like, what if we could all be 93-year-olds that could still smile and be so like completely like open-hearted and like open-minded about stuff? It's really fun.
I don't think it's possible. What is it? I just don't want to. I don't want to set myself up for disappointment. So I'm assuming. Yeah, we didn't get into the biological, the age, because I didn't want to feel like a morning show, like what's your secret kind of thing. But so like what is it? So I assume he doesn't drink that much. He's not a big drinker.
No, not really.
Does he smoke anything? Does he like a glass of red wine at the?
He's pretty healthy.
He's pretty into angel dust. I know he's got a kind of an angel dust thing.
He references some stuff. He gives partial credit to his writing partners, Dexedrine and what's the other ones back then? Secanol. Secanol.
Oh, yeah. Uppers and downers, baby, back in the good old days.
Yeah, what are the downers for, though? What is it like? Okay,
to go to bed
and for the third act. All right. But he talks about clutch writing and all that stuff. I wanted to ask him about Adderall and like what his feelings were that, because he mentions doing ecstasy in the book. I think just in passing.
Is his writing partner still alive?
I actually don't know. I've only worked with him for about a little over a year, so I'm probably one of the newest people on his team.
Got it.
What would Norman Lear's porn emoji be? If I was sending a text to my friend and it was like, "This clip is amazing."
I would say
Norman Lear fucking
a little upright piano that they play the theme song to All in the Family. Oh no, it would be an easy chair. It would be Archie's chair.
All right, there you go. I didn't really want an answer. All right. Well, it's past 10.
I guess traditionally this is the part of the show where Kiyomi does a rap.
Right. That's true. We usually have the assistants of our guests do a rap at the end of the night.
We have a special beat from Zach. Zach, you want to lay a beat on us? Oh, it's from Harry Foster. Harry, you got a beat?
Apparently Zach has my beat.
Zach, drop that beat. Kiyomi, do whatever you like. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to.
No, I'm good, thank you.
All right. What?
Oh, shit.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yo. 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 Finger, glove, hand, foot, chimney, soot. Fucked your mama inside and out. Fucked your mama till she got the gout. She needs iodine, less rich food. I fucked your mama cause she's in the mood. That's consensual, that makes it good to fuck your mama.
Oh, the way Glenn Miller played songs that made the hit parade.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like us, we had it made.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Yo, yo, yo. Stifle, Edith, I'm trying to talk. Meathead has got to take a walk with his liberal viewpoints and pro-queer views. I fucked your mama so much she's in the news.
We're moving on up to the east side.
Yo.
To a deluxe apartment.
Yo.
In the sky.
It's in the sky. Yo. It's in the sky. Yo. 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 Yo.
We're moving on up.
Yo. 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 It's hot. Yo. Okay. Yo. Yo. Beans on the griddle. Burn on the grill. I fucked your mama till she had her fill. I fucked your mama in a deluxe apartment. I fucked your mama and I was able to compartmentalize it. Because I have autistic traits. And I fuck her so great. She loves my focus and my ability to focus on her. But she's put off by my lack of eye contact. You take the good with the bad.
Keeping your head above water. Making our way when we can. Temporary layoffs.
Good times. Yo. Not good times. Yo. Good times. Yo. Good rhymes. I fucked your mama so hard. That was a slice of lime. Dynamite. Fucked your mama all night. I went out in the hall in a tenement building.
Harry Foster, next time make your song a little longer.
Okay. All right. Yo.
Here we go. Yeah.
Final verse.
Yeah.
Bringing it all together. Yeah. East Coast, West Coast, top coast, bottom. I fucked your mama, and then I got them. I talked about Pokemons. I got them all. And then I brought them to Niagara Falls. I said, help me fuck your mama.
All right. And thank you for coming to Harmontown, everybody. Thank you, Kiyomi. Thank you so much. Steve Levy. DeMorge Brown. Harry Foster for making the smooth beats. We love it. Make us a bunch. Rob Schrab, everybody. I'm Jeff Davis. One more time, even though he's left the building. Norman Lear. Pretty cool. It's awesome to have you all here with us for that. And your mayor, Dan Harmon, everyone.
Did you get any of that?
It's a good show.